So today we are starting this 4-part series about the 4-part rhythm that we see in Scripture, that we see in the world, that we see in our lives. We're talking about creation, and then the fall, and then redemption, and then we're talking about future hope. And then it'll be time for Lent. Amazingly enough, Ash Wednesday is Valentine's Day. But today we're talking about creation. And what we're talking about is we're talking about God as the creator. And when God creates out of nothing. And God creates something that is wholly separate and other than God. We aren't some part of God or some extension of God, but we're different. We're other than God. And then we believe that God continues to sustain creation. God stays involved. God is not some distant clockmaker who sets things in motion and walks away, but rather God continues to create. And then what Paul talks about in our Colossians reading is that Jesus Christ is the fullness of God. And so everything that we attribute to God as creator is attributed to Jesus Christ. And then Paul talks about Christ's mission, which is to reconcile all of creation to himself. And so what Paul is telling us, what the Gospels is telling us, what Scripture is telling us, is that every corner of this earth belongs to God, and God has come to redeem, to reconcile every corner of this earth. And therefore, that has massive implications for our lives. Because what it means is that every corner of our lives matters to God, and it's so easy to try and say, hey, God, I'll give you this, but no, I'm going to hold on to this. I'm not going to offer this up. God says, I created all of that, so we offer it all to God. And then whenever we go out into the world, we don't pick and choose which parts of creation we find valuable, which ones we want to interact with. God is reconciling all of it. Therefore, it all matters to God because it all belongs to God. And therefore, it should all matter to us. And so every person that we encounter is made in the image of God, and they all matter to us because they matter to God.